This is not a both sidesism. This is owned by the Republicans. It is owned by their ability to want to have anything their way. They've got a president that is pulling money back that was appropriated by the legislature, which these legislators, I know, I'm glad they are, would be horrified by that idea, giving up their authority as an independent branch. So I know Democrats are ready to go. I know they're ready to come back and do this. They're ready to come back and protect things that had passed the legislature. They are not willing to come back and let an authoritarian president do whatever he wants. The people are going to be lined up out here to get food, and we're talking about a damn ballroom. Don't lose the plot. Don't lose the plot of what's going on here.
Do not lose the plot. I am the biased commentator. Today we are talking about the government shutdown. Tim Walz and Democrats like him are lying to you. They are openly using citizens' pain against Republicans and using all this to go against what the American people voted for. We're going to talk about it all today. To start us off, Speaker Mike Johnson.
So I brought you a little visual aid here to just remind everybody what the simple facts are. 4 simple facts here. The Democrats are required to open the government. They keep saying Republicans are in charge of government. We aren't, not in the Senate. 60 votes control the Senate, not a bare majority. And so point number 1, Democrat votes are required to open the government. Point number 2, they refuse to do it. They have now voted 12 times to keep the government closed. And they'll have another chance today or tomorrow, maybe multiple times this week, and we'll see what they do. Now, the third point is very important because they've been trying to confuse the American people. They've tried to say this is a fight about health care or this or that or any other thing, and it's very simple. They put this on paper. They made this their demand in writing in the record of the Senate, and it has not changed. These are just 4 subpoints there under fact number 3, but there's many more. But among the things they're demanding, this is what the Democrats in the Senate are demanding to reopen the government. They want to give $200 billion in health benefits to illegal aliens and non-citizens, paid for by U.S. taxpayers. That is in their proposal. They want billions in wasteful programs to be returned to foreign countries. So we stopped these things. They want to turn it all back on. They're demanding that we do all that to get the government open for hardworking Americans again. They want to give $500 million to left-leaning news organizations, and they want to cut $50 billion from rural hospitals. We will not do those things. And they know that very well. Which leads us to point number 4. The Democrats have now openly admitted, and you all had to cover it last week, that they're using the pain of the American people as their leverage. That was the number 2 ranked Democrat in the House. The Democrat, the minority whip, who said that, acknowledged it in an interview, that this is leverage. And Chuck Schumer himself boasted that every day of the shutdown gets better for us. That's his now infamous quote that he wishes he had not said out loud. But you know what they're doing and why. Why are they demanding these things? Why is point number 3 so essential to them? Why would they do this? Because it's unprecedented, as we've noticed, and reminded you all, they voted for CRs every time it was possible in their lives, as recently as March of this year. But they're doing it to appease their far-left Marxist base. That's the headline. That's why. That's why we're all in this mess. That's why the American people are suffering pain, because the Democrats are more afraid of the Marxist in their base than they are of hardworking Americans. See, they've made an evaluation that they have to appease the Marxist base, that they're so concerned that they'll lose their jobs if they don't appease the far left in their party. And they sat in a back room and they made the calculation that they would rather shut the government down and impose all this pain on the American people because they believe the Marxists, the far left in the base, are more active than hardworking Americans, people who go vote. And so they made the calculation that it's worth it to them. Every day gets better for us. We'll use the pain as leverage. For what? To prove to the far left base that they won't give in, that they'll fight Trump and fight the Republicans. What are they fighting? It's a clean CR. It's the same level of funding that they have voted for as recently as earlier this year. They are Biden-level policies and spending. This is not some Republican wish list. We don't have any of our priorities in this at all. It's the Democrats' own product. But they have decided to flip the script this time because they were getting too much heat from the far left.
Okay, so I know there was a lot there. We're going to break it down a little bit. All 4 points are here that Mike Johnson covered. For pretty much 1 and 2 are the same. In the speech, Mike Johnson says that they had voted 12 times. At this point, it is 13. Democrat votes are required to open the government. If you're unaware, 60 votes are required to open the government in the Senate, and Republicans only have 53 votes, so they just can't make it on their own. Just can't happen. And then if you look into number 3, this is the one that we're really going to get into here. Democrats refuse to fund the government unless we restore $200 billion in health benefits for illegal aliens, billions for foreign projects, $500 million for leftist media outlets, and huge cuts to rural hospitals. For this billions of foreign projects, this is stuff that's already been cut that they want to re-put into our budget. This is money that we have already found as fraud and abuse, and we do not need it. They want to re-put that back in. This is what you guys voted for. You guys voted for less money in our government, less spending in our government. This is what you voted for. We want less spending. This is not it. This is the most contested part of the whole thing, I think. The left is really contesting this $200 billion in health benefits for illegal aliens. We're actually going to look into this a little bit more here. We are on here. Let me highlight what I want to read here. And then I'll scroll up and show you guys. We are on factcheck.org. If you guys want to read this, check this out for yourself, please do. This is a really good article. I really suggest that everybody reads this on their own. I'm just going to give you guys my kind of take on what we're reading here. Crazy stuff we're about to read. So, set up the whole situation. Senate Republicans claimed on their official X account on September 22nd, Democrat demands give illegal aliens free health care. Right here, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries calls this an outright lie in an interview with CNBC on September 30th. So, this is the position. This is the call out of a lie. This is point number 3 here. Tying it all together. Oops, wrong thing. There we go. Next spot, a spokesperson for Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer emailed a statement to factcheck.org saying undocumented immigrants cannot receive premium tax credits by law. The federal government does not fund health insurance coverage for undocumented immigrants and Medicaid or Medicare by law. Republicans have predictably resorted to lying about Democratic priorities because they know how unpopular their position is. However, the whole point of this is the term lawfully present citizens. These are people who are allowed to get money. The term lawfully present refers to non-citizens who have qualified immigration statuses that makes them eligible for Medicaid or the Children's Health Insurance Program. This is the catch-22. Chuck Schumer says undocumented immigrants cannot receive premium tax credits by law. However, there is a term, lawfully present, refers to non-citizens who have qualified immigration status that makes them eligible for Medicaid or Children's Health Insurance Programs. Who are these people that this represents? Right here. Residents, refugees, parolees, individuals granted asylum, and certain victims of domestic abuse or human trafficking, among others. While that is true, we see in the next line here, Julia Galliet, Associate Director of U.S. Immigration Policy at the Nonpartisan Migration Policy Institute, told us the term lawfully present is not a category fully defined in immigration law. What? I'll give you guys, I'll read that again. I'll read it slower. Associate Director for U.S. Immigration Policy at the Nonpartisan Migration Policy Institute told factchecker.org the term lawfully present is not a category fully defined in immigration law. What? What? So then, this is true. So then the third point of Mike Johnson's speech is true. If this is a category not fully defined in immigration law, Democrats are using this to give money to undocumented immigrants, to people that are not citizens of the United States. The third point is true. They are going against what you're saying. Mike Johnson's last point, and this is also the last point that we're going to get into here. Democrats admit They're using the pain and suffering of the American people as leverage while boasting that every day gets better for them. There is no contention to this. If you are unaware of the situation, this is Catherine Clark. Catherine Clark is the minority whip, second in command of minority party. So what this means is after the election, minority party has their own chain of command. Second in command of the minority party is Catherine Clark, sorry. That means that Catherine Clark is the second in command of the Democratic Party. Let's see what she has to say about the suffering of American people.
I mean, shutdowns are terrible. And of course, there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously. But it is one of the few leverage times we have. I mean, shutdowns are terrible.
You get that? Did you get that? But it's one of the few leverage times we have. Shutdowns are terrible. They're so bad. We understand. But it's leverage. Your pain, your suffering is leverage to make Republicans fold because they do care about you, and they will fold because they care about the American people. Next up, Governor Gavin Newsom also going on this whole tangent that it's a two-party issue, and we're going to get into that it's just not.
This ends when Donald Trump decides to get back on a plane and come back to the United States of America and in good faith negotiate with a co-equal branch of government. He'll have time on the plane, and I would encourage him to read the Constitution of the United States of America. 3 co-equal branches of government. Popular sovereignty, the rule of law. President Trump, it's the rule of law, not the rule of Don.
He's begging for negotiation. You got to negotiate with us. You got to negotiate. Why aren't you negotiating? Well, there's really no reason. There's really no reason. The American people have voted against this. The people are standing with the Republican Party, who is voting to open up the government, who is trying to negotiate. We'll get into that. And they really don't even have to. We'll see here in our next clip. This is a CNN clip. The disastrous Democrat shutdown of the government is now helping Republicans per CNN polling. Let's watch.
One thing that might end a shutdown is political pain if parties start to feel that it's hurting them. So let's talk about that, starting with Republicans. How has the shutdown seemed to have affected their political standing?
Yeah, you might think, given that the Republicans are in charge of both the House and the Senate, that a government shutdown might actually hurt the Republican brand. But in fact, it hasn't. If anything, it's been helped a little bit. Take a look here, the shift in net popularity versus pre-shutdown. When we're looking at the Republican Party overall, that brand actually up 2 points. That's within the margin of error, but clearly it hasn't dropped. Come over to this side of the screen. Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. It's actually up 5 points since pre-shutdown. So what we're seeing here is the Republican brand in Congress has actually improved somewhat compared to where we were pre-shutdown, despite the fact that Republicans control. And that's the math that John Thune and Mike Johnson are looking at is, well, hey, why should we give, and electorally speaking, when our brand has actually improved a little bit?
Now, we say they're
Absolutely. Why? Why would we negotiate, Gavin? Why would we negotiate with you when we had the leverage? You don't have the leverage anymore, Catherine. The people aren't with you anymore, Catherine Clark. They're done with you. Why would we negotiate with you when the GOP is gaining popularity because of, well, I would argue, I don't know if it's because of the shutdown. I don't think anybody's really gaining popularity because of the shutdown. I think it's stuff that's happening outside of the shutdown during the shutdown span that is pulling people away from the Democratic Party and into the GOP. Really quickly, what is actually being affected from the American people here? This is Fox 5, Washington, D.C. They talk about SNAP benefits, WIC, Head Start. This is the stuff that we're really going to get into real quickly. And I cannot weave a highlight that. This is the stuff we're going to get into real quickly. I have links over here. Now, this is the stuff that I really want to get into. If you want to look at this as NHSA, I encourage everybody, we're running out of time here. I encourage everybody to read this on their own. I might do another video on just on who's getting affected by this. This is disgusting stuff. This is the military government shutdown information and resources for military. I would encourage you guys to read through this as well. This is scary stuff. If you ever had to go through this, I mean, you're a military. This is how we're going to treat our military. If you had to go through this and you're getting tips on reach out to your bank and credit union to ask about interest-free loan programs, consider stopping automatic payments, especially if you have any automatic payments pulling from your bank account. Caution, be careful who you share information with. Never give your information to companies. They're probably super huge scam risks right now. Do not rush to borrow money from pay lenders. This is on the first page. How many of these guys do you think are getting scammed because they have no way of income because the government shut down? But it does suck that the people that are in our military, the people that are in our preschools have to go through this. Please give this a read, guys. And I will leave you with this one last thought. I am the biased commentator, and I will see you next time.
You ever notice how every time a Republican takes office, the Democrats start acting like it's the end of the world? I mean, the minute we cut taxes or trim the budget, they start screaming that the sky is falling. Now, don't get me wrong, I admire their consistency. If the stock market surges, they say it's just helping the rich. And if it crashes, they say, yep, that's what happens under Republican leadership. And don't even get me started on foreign policy. A Republican president could be shaking hands with world leaders and signing peace deals, and they'd say, it must be appeasement. But the minute there's tension overseas, they rush to the nearest camera like it's Black Friday saying, see, we told you the world would catch fire if he was in charge. Now, I've always said, it's fine to disagree on policy. That's democracy. But if your best shot at winning is hoping the American people lose, well, maybe you're in the wrong country.